We are going to be making an op art design, and today we're just going to start by drawing it out. Now you're going to start to draw yours in pencil, but I'm going to do mine in Sharpie just so you can see it. So we will eventually be using some colored pencils to color in our designs. So for today, just drawing. So you're going to be getting this square piece of paper. You will need to draw a small dot in close to the middle of your paper. It does not have to be perfectly in the middle. You will then take a ruler and you're going to be making lines that go out from the dot out to the edges of the paper. So for me, it's easier if I just kind of start corner to corner. So I'm going to line the ruler up with the corners of my paper, close to it anyways, and making sure that I go over that dot every time. So it's going to be important that all of your lines touch that center dot. So you can see I made my dot very light. You can barely even tell where it was. This is closer to the center of the actual paper. Now that I have my X with those lines being close to the corners. So now I'm going to continue to add some lines going from that middle point and making sure it goes through. Now you want your sections to be somewhat even. It might not be perfect, so don't worry about that. So you're going to be splitting it with a wide X and then a narrow X in the middle on both sides. So there's going to be several sections. Okay, so now that I have my line sections, obviously some are a little bit more narrow than others. That's okay. We just want them to be somewhat similar in size. We don't want like really wide ones and very narrow ones. So now we are going to start to add the curving lines. Now this is really important. The curving lines need to connect from one section to the next. You can see how my lines touch. But notice every other section, they either curve up like a rainbow or dip down like a letter U. So I'm gonna start in this section here, and you wanna try to evenly space them apart, and you want them to have a nice curve for that rainbow curve. You don't want it to be too shallow of a curve, or else it's not going to look three-dimensional. And know that you need to go all the way, even to the point where it's going off of the page. So now when I move to the next section, I'm not going to curve up again, I'm going to curve down. Now the only tricky thing is sometimes this doesn't work out perfectly, depending on how many lines and how many sections that you have. So you might end up having two beside each other that are going the same way. So we'll see how this works out. Making sure they connect every time. So I'm starting where this one leaves off and curving up like a rainbow for this section. And then in the next section, starting where the last line started, but then dipping down. Okay, so if I would have ended and had another line so that these were both rainbow curves, what you would do is you would have to just split and make a small section to kind of make it work. So if you run into that issue, just let me know. If you split it the way I showed you, where it's an X and then you split like a V almost in each section, it should work out correctly. So now that this is done, I would put my name on the back, not with Sharpie. Make sure it's in pencil or crayon, not with a marker, okay? So then your room number, and then this will be ready to have color added. But we're going to talk about how to color these, how to use shading using a colored pencil, using some different values.